Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Good morning from gorgeous Nashville, Tennessee. It is going to be a lovely day. Um, let me just make sure that I am live where I need to be so that those who are hanging out can come and see. Let's see. I don't know why it does this on the Facebooks because I stream this to Facebook and YouTube's. I would stream it into Instagram Live, but I don't know how to do that. So there we go. Public. We are in the publics. Good morning, Meredith. Welcome, welcome. So if you're watching on the YouTubes or the Facebook replays, you might hear me saying hello and good morning to folks because this was recorded as a live stream. So good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 11. We're going to talk about starting in the heart today, which, it's almost like a confession for me. So, but it's a confession plus a why this is happening, plus a here's how we're going to move forward so that you can really start to feel a lot more conscious and intentional about how you show up. Because I think it's really important that, especially right now, especially in the times we currently live in, to remind ourselves that it is from the heart chakra, from the heart, the center of love in our individual selves, which is our connection back to source. It's one of our connections. It's how we choose to see ourselves from the perspective of source energy or God. Okay. So with that, let's get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay. If you don't know me, I am Soul Coach Michele, your friendly neighborhood super woo, and I am dedicated to supporting your soul and life purpose alignment journey so you can manifest a life you love. I think isn't that what we all want, right? So, confession times. Like I said, I was going to say a confession. And I wanted to share that I am, a recovering control freak and perfectionist. I don't know about you. Maybe this resonates. Maybe I'm just preaching. And you guys are like, no, I am good. I am so like on calm, like the Buddha. I am done. But the thing is, one of the soul lessons that I know is my primary to learn is how to to detach from outcomes, to learn to detach and remove focus from people and things and situations that lower my vibration. Because the thing is that if our sole purpose is to vibrate in as high as possible, because that's the vibration of love, right? Is the highest vibration. Um, it's out of alignment with your life purpose if your life purpose is doing stuff that isn't from your love center, right? Isn't from your soul's purpose. If my purpose is to be high vibrational, then doing things that make me low vibrational or witnessing things and absorbing them or mindlessly allowing them to filter into my being creates lower vibration, then duh, I'm out of alignment. I mean, that's really what it is. We talk about alignment and all this stuff and all these esoteric things. I like to break it down and make sure that you totally get what that really means in regular people talk. And so that's what I want to talk about today is starting from the heart center. And what does that mean? What does it look like in reality instead of some like, woo woo tweet or whatever that just doesn't really have a lot of other stuff going on knowledge-based ways. I like to throw down the truth bomb. So that's what we're going to do today. And maybe you can resonate with this. Maybe you too are a recovering perfectionist or a recovering control freak who is trying to make stuff happen and realizing that making stuff, when you really think about stuff in your life, when you think about all the things that brought you immense joy, were they something you controlled outcomes from? I would wage to bet no, like that there was some miraculous intervention, divine timing, divine intervention that just went boom. Yes, this is where we're going to take you to the next level because you set an intention. You focused on aligning being high vibrational around it, and then it came in. So alignment, I think like if you saw my what do you call it, meme over the weekend where alignment or yeah, attraction is alignment in action. So that's what we're going to learn about what that really means and how to do that today. Okay. So, the reason I come in with this is because I've been there. Like I tell everybody, I may know all the right things. I've been a metaphysician since birth. So yeah, I know all the things. Do I practice them all the time? No, because I'm human. I see shit and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. And then like I get all harpy about it, but then I have to stop myself and be like, is this how source would handle it? Is this how a high vibration, divine being would handle this? No. So, I want to kind of be really honest and say, I say I'm in recovery because sometimes I stumble. I mean, none of us are perfect. I don't want to ever be in that space where you're like, oh my God. No, we are the same. I'm just sharing information because I know it works. And if something works, I want you to know it so you can strive to practice it as well. Okay. And good morning, Jan. Good morning, Susan. I saw your post. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you friend me or you like the page or whatever the hell you're supposed to do on the social medias, because I know just enough to be dangerous. Okay. So, what happens with this? Why are we not because we all talk about being this heart-centered love being, right? But doing that, it's a little challenging, can be a little challenging, because what happens is, and I know this from years of teaching law of attraction and manifesting and all this kind of stuff, but I know this to be true. The how is what is focused on when the what and the why ought to be focused on, okay? Because what happens is you start to think about something that you want or that you've experienced, and you go, how can I stop myself from hearing and seeing things that I don't agree with or I don't like? How can I control outcomes so I get what I want, or so that people don't know that I'm not as fabulous as they think that I am or I want them to think that I am? How can I make more money when I don't have any right now? How am I going to pay for that new car, new home, new trip that I want to go on? This how thinking of how to make something happen sends you down this rabbit hole of doom scrolling in your thoughts. We like to use the word doom scrolling in social because you're scrolling going, look at all this shit, look at it, look at it, look at it, right? But you do that in your thoughts too, the doom scrolling. And it's almost like you want to self-soothe, but you're doing it in a way that you're looking for something to judge, because judgment is like an impulse buy, right? I can point outside myself and say, that person, that place, that thing, that situation, oh, that's so shitty. I am better than that. Thusly, I feel better for about 5 minutes, right? When we do that, when we judge ourselves and others, that's not really a long-term good vibe. It's a false vibe. It's like you're in the line at Target, okay, or the grocery store or wherever. And there's all this candy. I don't know about you, I love my candy and chips, right? And you're like, I'm having a day, I'm hungry, I deserve a Twix bar or a Crunch bar or whatever your jam is. And you buy that and you're like, yes, I'm gonna eat this bitch and it's gonna be mine and it's gonna get in my belly and I'm gonna feel better. So a couple things happen. You eat it, it's gone like that. And sometimes it causes a tummy ache. Sometimes you then worry about how many calories you just ate. Sometimes you think, I can't get that $3 back that I just spent on this chocolate bar that's not going to do nothing for me except give me a sugar high, and now I got to go take a nap or be cranky. Do you see what I mean? Judgment acts the same way. It is just this impulse purchase of false self-soothing. So it might make you feel good in the moment to point to something else and say, look how shitty that is. If that's that shitty, I must not be that bad. When in actuality, what you're doing is trying to lower someone else's or some other thing external to you's vibe so the vibe you're on feels higher, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm just going to choose not to participate in that so that my vibe stays where it is and goes up. And you know, the thing is, because of the law of oneness, which is we're all one because we are all extensions of the one source, we are manifested in our individuality, but we extensions of source. When you judge someone else, you judge something else, you judge another thing in the material 3D world, you're really judging you. You're being discompassionate with yourself. And if you've ever noticed, people who are discompassionate with self and not loving towards self are they're judgmental, they're cranky, they're mean, they push people away and then wonder why people go away. Because it's this vicious cycle of lacking in self love that causes that perpetuating doom scrolling, that perpetuating lowering of vibration. And it's a cycle. And it's such a low vibration. And if the purpose of your soul is to be as high vibration as possible in the alignment of love vibrations, then when we are pointing at others, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I love myself, and I'm going to stop this judgment of others and myself, and stop this ridiculous idea of perfectionism because it's bullshit. Nobody is perfect, not even a diamond. Okay. Nothing in the 3D world is perfect. Not you, not me, not anybody who thinks they might be. Do you know? So striving for it doesn't do anything but a letdown. But if we can stop that cycle of disalignment and re-embrace who we really are, which are these divine manifestations of source energy, the highest vibration of all of love, that's where we might start moving out of this other place. And I'm not sitting here going, it's so easy. I'm sitting here going, I get it. It's challenging. Like I said, recovering perfectionism does not mean that I don't have inner self-talk from time to time that's really, really not nice. That I might look at something external and be like, ugh, and judge it. But the difference is I'm going to encourage you to take a breath and be in your awareness and look and say, okay, I'm going to stop that because that doesn't do anything for me. Inner negative self-talk doesn't do anything for me. Inner judgments of outer things with the idea that if they would just change, I would feel better, which is putting your vibration value on something external to you, which we all know is crap. If we can get to that place, that would be great. And it is a challenge, like I said, because you're also being fed messages. If you're tired and you turn on the television and you're not mindful about what you're feeding your mind, you end up with messages of you're not enough, you don't have enough, you might be ill, you might, all these things. And it's not just TV, it's social media, it's just other stuff we feed our minds unconsciously. And if your mind is what it consumes and you're consuming these kinds of messages, no wonder we're doing these things to ourselves that are so not love-based. But I'm going to encourage, and then it's almost like because of that, we invite other folks who are doing that same thing into our lives. And it just, again, self-perpetuates. So how do we fix this? How do we stop this? How do we, start back towards the path of heart-centeredness? And don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to quit your job and go join an ashram and read, eat, pray, love, and go do the same exact thing. Because, we all have lives to live. If that's your jam and that's what you want to do, go. I think that's awesome, but if you're like, I need to just today, just for this minute, I'm going to live in 24-hour increments. That's number one. Live in the 24-hour increments just for today. Just for today. This might be happening just for today. So I'm going to just let it go. The thing is, we actually have control over this with that thought process. I get to choose to let things go. I get to choose what I want to look at. It's called intentionality when we choose to what we feed our minds, whether it's high vibrational or low vibrational. Being conscious and intentional about all of this. So, whatever you do, like even if you choose to watch the news, if you can do it without allowing what's going on to infiltrate and manage your thought process. If you can watch it from the thing like, oh, that's really interesting, as opposed to, screaming at the TV like it's a football game. Or, you know, if you can choose to not allow it to change your vibration and just say, oh, well, that's just information, it's data, and seeing it as that. I'm not saying we don't have, that we're all like Mr. Spock or Sheldon Cooper, where none of us have feelings or opinions. What I'm saying is, if we allow people who are doing the opposite of those and we allow them to shift our vibration, that's where we don't have control over what we're thinking. Number one. Number two, that doesn't mean you don't have to state your opinion. Just state it from a place of like, here's what's going on, you know, from data, from data. And if you can't do that, don't watch it. I watch Little House on the Prairie. Sometimes we watch the news, but sometimes I watch Big Bang Theory because that's what's on and I don't want to watch the news today. In fact, I think I'm going to watch Big Bang Theory and Little House on the Prairie later. Because when you start choosing what you're feeding your mind, because this is part of the experience, you can't live under a rock. You're going to go see friends. You're going to see a movie. The movies have their own agendas too. But if you can approach things from the place of love, the place of enjoyment, the place of where I choose to be here, and I'm not going to allow my vibration to be dictated by that thing that I am witnessing, that I am observing. If I can stay in observer mode through the whole thing and be aware that I'm doing that, that's where I can shift and say, I'm just going to stay in this heart center. Now, the other cool thing is that in these choices, we can choose what brings us joy. We choose to be joyful, which is up the high vibrational scale. If any of you have worked with me, hey, Shauna knows that that spiral of the vibrations, like you can pinpoint where you are. And if you're down below the belt, you move up, and making that choice. And you're not going to jump 18 steps, mind you. It's okay to be in fear and move up to anger because that's a step up the ladder. I'm not gonna tell you it's bad. Would I love you to be way up here in love and ecstasy of happiness or whatever? Sure. Am I gonna judge you or should you because you didn't? No. I will celebrate with you as you move up those rungs because that's going in the right direction towards your soul's alignment with your life purpose. Your life purpose is to fill your soul alignment. That's it. I know, and that's it. Just to kind of give you some context, back in the day, and back in the day is not like 30 years ago, it's like 2 years ago. Or last year, shit, I don't know. It's back in the day. It feels like 2020 felt like it was 300 years long, right? So back in the day, 2020, 2019, 2018, all of this. When I went into business, I left corporate America and went into business myself because that was my calling. That I listened to a lot of gurus because I know how to be a spiritual teacher. I know how to connect with source and share readings. I know how to teach people how to access their Akashic records, which is coming down the pike, by the way. I know how to circle up a group and have them have a magical, lovely, spiritually, good experience. I know how to do that. The business side of things, the showing up and sharing and how much do I charge, and I personally rather call it an energetic exchange. I think a lot of us spiritual folks have challenges doing it, and taxes, they're due in 3 days for your quarterly. I didn't know any of this crap. I left corporate knowing how to teach someone to realign their soul or realign with their soul purposes. And I knew lots of ways to do it. I know how to teach you how to use those tools. Accounting, not my sweet spot back then. Marketing, not my sweet spot. So I started listening to all these gurus. Staying on track, not my sweet spot. Now it is. I'm much better at everything now because I've learned things. But I was listening to gurus in a way that was very head-spaced, coming at it from a head place. the how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. And it moved me so far away from my heart center that everything was business. Everything was business. I slept, I ate, I breathed. What are my taxes? 15.6%, blah, 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 right? For self-employment, all these things. How to track all your crap. It was almost like the stuff that I had as goals to support you guys was this big, and all the other stuff was this big. And it was all because I was coming from a space of my head. In 2020, although I know and honor all of the not so joyful things that did occur, I have to say a blessing, like Mr. Rogers always says, look for the helpers. One of the helpers, I have to say, wasn't really one person. It was just people kind of being themselves, and me kind of saying, you know what, I have permission to do my own thing. I have permission to step back and get quiet and not be part of this guru-y thing, this business coach thing, this, not to say that there aren't certain truths and validities to them, but living and breathing all that stuff all the time means that I had to buy into the fact that I really didn't know what I was doing, when the fact is I kind of do. And I might not be super awesome at all the things because it's just me and they are not my sweet spot. This is my sweet spot, but I can learn them, but I don't have to do them exactly as directed. I gave myself permission in the last couple of months to just stop and step back and say, what was serving me? We're still in that new moon energy. The previous full moon was when all that kind of went down for me, like as a conscious intention to move from my head to my heart and to start looking and say, it doesn't mean that anybody's bad. It doesn't mean that anybody doesn't know what they're talking about. It meant that certain things were not where I needed to be anymore. That's it. And in doing that, I realized, oh, this is where my sweet spot is again. And in fact, I started thinking, if I sit in my sweet spot, all the other stuff that is the how-tos and things of like, muggle day-to-day stuff, like, keeping track of my stuff that I need to pay my taxes, keeping track of what are the themes I want to share with you so that I don't stress myself out because of the whole being in recovery for perfectionism and control freakedness. If I institute certain practices, then those things are the overwhelm that then leads to a little bit of feeling anxious and all that kind of stuff that I'm sure, maybe you do or don't have as well or experience as well. But in doing those kinds of things and realizing what tools I have that I want them to work for me, and then coming from a loving place for all of that stuff for myself, allows me to be more compassionate with everyone else, more calm with everyone else. Because when I create that space for myself and I sit in my heart space, it allows me to be more of that. So I want that for you guys. And, I want to say thank you to, I have my little spiritual sister group that I hang out in, very, very small. There's 3 of us. And they have been so supportive. I mean, we support each other, but I publicly want to say you guys are amazing. And without you, it would be really hard to navigate all this stuff, especially with all this crazy energy. But from that space of stepping back so I could see things more clearly and from a heart-centered place, I made a lot of decisions. And stepping back into allowing myself maybe not to, like, I have one page on my website that I really feel is so me. It's not the front one. It's like 2 in. But old me would be like, shit, we got to get that front page right. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. What does this one say that I need to write on the front page? What does that one say? How many emails am I going to send when I have a gallery again? Which, by the way, like, I finally am allowing myself to just take it as it comes. If I push, nothing good comes. So I got this feeling as I allowed myself to move into that space of just allowing myself to sit in my heart. And it was like the energy of co-creation came back, the energy of where all of my trinity of self, the ego, which is not a bad guy. We're going to talk about egos and karmas and all that this month too, or coming, whatever. um Aligning with my higher self, aligning with the source energy that we all are one with. And you know what started to come out was so much more fun. Was like I've been telling my two soul sisters that I talk to all the time. I said, I just feel so much more aligned. I feel like everything's flowing. And then information of study to grow has flowed back in, and I love it. And it's just this co-creative place. And I want to share this because I think it'll resonate with some of you guys that are solopreneurs, but also other folks that love their jobs or want to find a job they love. If you can shift how you think about it, it's almost like seeing it as a business or a job or work is like a head thing. What I've come to find out, and this is only in the last, like, what, how many days since the last full moon? 2 weeks? A month? I don't remember what the timing is. But if I can shift my mindset from my head business to my heart, creating a practice, and that word practice just has so much juiciness to it, where I do my meditation practice every day in this chair back here. My business is a practice not only as a spiritual practice for myself. How do I show up? How do I serve? How can I be part of what you need? And even if that's just sitting next to you holding space, what does that look like? And creating a practice around that. And part of that practice is I have to practice being my own accountant, because like Oprah says, if you don't know what's going on, then what is it, if you don't mind your money, it runs away or whatever. And in the 3D world, we have to maintain our mindset over abundance, and that includes money or coupons, or where are all my Bruegger's bagel app that I have, what's going on there. And it's really interesting to me that once I started looking at my business from a practice perspective, it's also a wellness practice. It's a soul alignment wellness practice. I help people align their life purpose with their soul purpose. And and what does that look like? And that's a practice that I participate and facilitate for others. So if I can look at all of this from the place of a practice, it makes life easy. It allows me that when I get off here, I can go have my avocado toast and not worry about, like, oh my God, I have so many social posts to do. No. I dedicate a week to creativity and brainstorming and creating words and pictures to really hopefully support you guys the way that you need, as source tells me to do. Yes. Is that a business practice? It might be. Some people might say it is. Do I have a calendar? Yes, because in the 3D world, we have time and space, and they all have to match up. And if I want to go have lunch with you, I got to know where we're going and what time I got to be there. If we're going to do a reading, I need to know where we're going and what time we got to be there. You got to be on Zoom at this time. But I allow source to say, are we using a deck? Are we using a crystal? Am I just going to channel? So that balance comes from being in the heart center, because creativity takes place in the heart center. So here's the other thing that my soul sisters keep me in line with, and I want you to kind of find either, and you can share here or we can talk, but the accountability of keeping yourself in your heart center is when you get tied up in I have this great idea, heart center inspiration, right? All of a sudden, if you feel it hop into your head and you're like, well, how am I going to do this? And what do I need? And la, 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 all of that stuff, just write it on a piece of paper and then say, I allow myself to go back into my heart center. Or write it all down so you don't forget, because that would stress me out. I would forget, like I might have a good idea and then I forget it, and that's bad. So I write it all down. Again, tool to manage any kind of overwhelm or control freakiness or perfectionism or anything else that creates a feeling of anxiety so that I can release it into the paper. And then when I started following all this stuff, I also knew to get up and leave it. If something looked good, like literally, I created a graphic, showed it to my sister, and they were like, "Okay, that's beautiful. Don't go anywhere else," because they knew me well enough to say, "You're already thinking, how am I going to do my homepage? What's the other page going to look like? Blah blah blah." I haven't even released the graphic yet. It is so in alignment with what my soul purpose is and my life purpose is, but I don't have the words to express yet. And what I've learned is if I force those words, it doesn't work. I don't care what the gurus say, how many things you need to do. If it's not true to you, people know it. If it's not true to you, you know it. And then it doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. And then you're out of alignment again, which is sucky. So, you know, ever since I shifted this thought process for myself, which I'm going to encourage you to do as well, think about what it is you want to do, whether it's your job or your own business, or maybe, a creative pursuit hobby that you like. If you can make it a practice and move it into the heart center, that's where we're going to find some forward motion in a way that feels really good and not forced. If you notice yourself popping up in your head of how am I going to get this done? Oh my God, there's a deadline. Oh my God. No, no more deadlines, because your success in life is not measured by how many deadlines you meet or how many people you please or how many dollars are in your bank account. Your success in life is all about whether or not your life purpose and your soul purpose are aligned. And you know that they are in alignment when there's joy and happiness and high vibration and love. And we chose this 3D thing. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. That human experience is free will. So we're going to have this. But being in awareness allows you to have more of this and less of this. Okay? You get what I'm saying? Instead of the soap opera, you're kind of having a documentary film that's all about loving and loving penguins or something high vibrational and happy, and not a lot of drama. There might be some, but it's a lot less when you do your meditation, when you stay in your heart center, when you become aware of when you start popping up into your head and you stop, go find something else to do. I go make bread. I make a lot less bread now, so there's not a whole lot left to go around. But now, instead of like making lots of loaves of bread, now I just try to find different ways to make it. Now I make it in the Instapot, which I think is fantastic. And I'm also thinking of it, like I love cooking, so that's my go-to for creativity. I also am starting to let go even more of the whole like idea of, um, forced all this stuff. I'm just gonna let you guys know. I might hop in your emails more often when stuff is going on, because I know people's emails are wonky. In fact, like the last at the gallery or on Saturday, I had people go, only saw one email, and I sent like 7. So if I'm called and like in the guru thing, you're supposed to send like 20, and I'm like, that does not feel right to me. I don't want to write 20 emails. I love you guys, but I don't want to write 20 emails. I have bread to make. I also don't think you want to receive 20 emails if you're receiving all of them. So I asked Source, what feels good? They tell me, I do it. That's it. That's it. So the old me, like I said, when I think about stuff, the old me, when it comes to say the gallery I just held, and I didn't create a sales page around it, which is like a huge no-no in the guru's world, is creating sales pages and all this crap. I just wrote posts. I was like, hey, here's what I'm doing. I want to share it with you guys. I would love for you to come. That was pretty much it. And I gave like a rundown of what was going on. And part of that was because Spirit was telling me, don't do this other because you don't even know what to say yet. And now that we've gone through it together, I kind of know how to convey the feeling of it to others. So maybe in the next month, not the next day or week, in the next month, I might have a page where I can share it and when they're going to be, because I know what they're going to look like better now. The Akashic Journey stuff. I know I'm going to do those. I thought it was going to be one thing. Now it feels like it's not. But if I jumped and listened to old me, who was all, how am I going to do this? I would have all this stuff done. I would be spinning my wheels. I'd have to go back and fix it. When the fact is, my time is better spent aligning, doing my life purpose, being a teacher, with my soul purpose in a high vibrational state to deliver and help you raise your vibration. So I have to be a good example so that I can help you. But if I'm doing all this other crazy stuff, you know, that doesn't work well. Do I need to get information out? Yeah, because we live in a 3D world. Do I have to do it in a way that doesn't feel good? No. Being okay with that statement in every context is where I want you to get, because the new me, under this new moon, I share that I consciously choose to slow down. This is my accountability with you guys. I'm choosing to slow down even more. I was such a GSD girl, get shit done girl, back in the day when I was in corporate law. I would flip 30 to 60 contracts to the point where my attorneys were like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was your workload. Like, they were like, what? Oh my God. But I would just go, 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 go. And that's not who I want to be anymore. That's not being a practice. That's being a churner. I want to be a churner in the space. And I know you don't want to be a churner in your space. You want everything to feel good. Now, we can't control other people, but we control how we engage, how we show up, how we respond or react, you know. And I'm going to encourage you to work from your heart from here on out. It's not going to be easy. That's why I'm here too. We're doing this together. So what I'm going to promise not only is to slow down, but also to realize, and my spiritual girl posse, they know they have permission to be like, girl, stop thinking and just go find something fun to do. But I will try to consciously, before that happens, stop and go find something fun to do. It might be going to the TJ Maxx to find a new journal, like I shared with on the Instagrams. I got this at TJ Maxx. Isn't that fun? But finding something fun or creative to do to get you back into that high vibrational heart center. And then just realizing, okay, I'm going to just go. And when it's their time, Spirit will tell me to do what I'm supposed to do. So, that's kind of what I'm going to encourage you to do. It's challenging. It's scary. But again, fear is low vibrational. The opposite of love is fear, not hate. The opposite of fear is not courage. It's love. So I'm going to encourage you, stay in the love vibration as much as you can. If you're thinking about getting the pedicure and thinking, I don't have time, fuck that. Stop. Go get your pedi. Put on your mask. Go get your pedi. Okay? If you are looking at something you want to buy and you have the money in the bank, but for whatever reason you're telling yourself no, as long as you have that energetic exchange for it, give yourself what you need. And maybe that's another thing. Ask yourself in a quiet moment, do your meditation. In your meditation, ask yourself as you go in, what do I need? My yoga teacher, Jen, who I talk about all the time, she's like, we'll be in Shavasana, or we'll be in the first position of lotus. And as we're going into practice, it'll be like, ask yourself what you need today. You might, because we all talk about, there's all this talk about, well, I need to ask source energy, how do you want me to serve today? Which I do too. But also we need to say, because the individual, because we are a trinity, what do I need today to support myself so that I can go out and serve as I'm directed? I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Okay, here's your affirmation for this week. It is safe for me to love myself, to give myself compassion, and to take the time I need to maintain a life that begins in my heart center. Read that again. And we're at 39 and 20 seconds. If you need to come back and write this down. It is safe for me to love myself, to give myself compassion, and to take the time I need to maintain a life that begins in my heart center. Write that down on a Post-it note. Put it in your wallet. Put it somewhere you'll see it every single day. Put it on your desk. Put it on your computer monitor. I want you to be in your heart center this week as much as you can. And I know it might be hard, but I'm going to encourage you to do it. And if you want, you're more than welcome to send me a message. I check the Instagram message now. I know what it means when there's a little number next to that paper airplane thingy up in the corner. In the corner over here, if you're watching me on Instagram, right there, I know what that means now. Not just on the face. You can send me an email. You have my email, Michele@soulcoachstudio.com. Send me an email. But that's it for this week, and I hope it was helpful. I went over a bunch because this was really important. I do want to let you know that I'm taking a break from Clubhouse for a bit because, again, didn't feel like it was like for whatever reason this month, it was feeling like that's too much. There's other stuff going on that I just need to step away from Clubhouse, which is fine. I still have my account. And I probably will show up in a different manner there when they tell me to go back, because right now they're telling me this is where I need to be, is in these live streams on these other platforms, which is cool. Secondly, I have, as I said, I redid my info page on readings, new structures around readings. So I'm doing 30, 45, and 60-minute, and I'm still doing the Girl We Gotta Talk 2-hour deep dives if that's something that moves you. But if you want to check that out, I'm going to go ahead and share in the chat the link, and just go check it out because it's new and I love it. And like my feedback that I've gotten from people is that they feel like it's way more aligned than what was there. So don't look at the homepage, just go to that link and you can check it out. Let me know what you think. If you want to schedule a reading, please feel free. And I think that's it. Yeah, that was all my notes. I'm just looking at my notes really quick because, I don't want to forget nothing. But anyways, I want to say thank you. Let me quick scroll through all of these. Mary Lou Caputo, hello and welcome. Sounds like me. She says overachiever, perfectionist. I always trying to figure out the how. I know. And it's so stressful and exhausting. So stop. I know it's hard. When you sit there and you realize you're trying to figure out the how, just take a breath and say, the universe has my back. I don't need to know the how. And I know your itty bitty shitty community is gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me? Trust me. Just go have a glass of iced tea, summertime, sit on your patio, sit under a tree. It'll be counterintuitive, but I promise you, try it for 5 minutes and see if you feel better. Do something else. Go paint, go cook, go window shopping, whatever you need to do that puts you back here. You might even stop and just say the mantra I just shared. And that might be your moment to shift. That's what and I want to say hello to everybody else too. Hey, Deanne. Hey, Susan. Hey, Shauna. My sweet digital nomad. I have been following your adventures. They are awesome. You were in Sedona, which was my old stopping ground. It's on my list of places I need to go because I have family there. And let's see. Meredith says, girl, stop coming for me. Girl, love yourself. I love you so much. And I was so excited that you were at the gallery this weekend. Angela, been watching. Great message. Thank you. She was at our gallery too. And she shared her gifts with us. Oh my gosh, Angela Montanez is so lovely and wonderful. You need to follow her on Instagram. She has really cool little videos on there. Love her videos, and she's such a great healer. I'm so glad you're here. I love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys so much. Have a wonderful week. What I am replacing the Clubhouse thing is with posts on Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to start doing the midweek card pulls. I did one last week. If you want to go see it, it's all about the Heart Center. And then I'm going to start doing those this week, and we'll see how that goes. And I just go at a month at a time because that's what I'm told. So anyways, remember, here, not here. Now, granted, yeah, we got to be here when we're driving our cars and we're doing the 3D world thing, going to the store, which credit card do I need to use, or how much cash do I need to pull out of my wallet? Or what thing do I want to eat today? And how do I cook that? Do I need to chop all the carrots or do I throw them in whole? That's head stuff because we're dealing with 3D stuff. But when it's not 3D stuff, when it's creative, when it's how we feel, I'm notorious for saying you can't feel your way out of a thinking thing and you can't think your way out of a feeling thing. So when it's a thinking thing, it's appropriate to be up here. Usually that's a how motor skill thing. How do I navigate something in the literal 3D sense? When it's how do I navigate a feeling, it's here. That's how you know the difference. So ask yourself that question, repeat your mantra, and then find something fun to do. And that's the weekly message. And I love, love, love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you right back here on Monday for next week's Messy Bun, which I think is, what did I write down? Oh, next week's Messy Bun is all about, is Camera really a biatch? Is she really a bitch? Is she really coming for you? The real story on karma. Next video. Okay. I will see you guys later. I love you guys so much. Remember, go check out my YouTube channel if you're not watching me there, and click subscribe and that little belly thing because it'll tell you when I go live. And follow me here, friend me here, follow me on IG, all of the things. And if you need a reading, come check out my new page. I really like it. I hope you do too. Okay, that's it. Have a great day. I'm going to go eat some more of that avocado toast, which is delicious, and start the rest of my day. Have a good day, y'all. Love you guys so much. Bye-bye. Okay, bye.